So one of his accessories is this staff, which in the mythology he could extend to any size and any length. His monkey tail can also be removed and kind of used as another staff. And then this whole backpack, I'm not sure if this is an intentional accessory or not, but this whole backpack can be taken off, which really cleans up his look a lot. And it's got kind of a cloud-like pattern, so this might be the cloud that he flies on, but it also doubles as a stand because his tail can plug into this hole here. So if this backpack is supposed to be his cloud, there's a really big missed opportunity that they didn't paint the inside of it white to make it look more cloud-like. And while I'm thinking of it, on the subject of his tail, this joint right here was really tight, so I have a lot of stress marks around this plastic, and I could have really easily broken it. So I took a knife and I shaved all of this down, because it was very tight and I almost broke it just bending it when I first got it. So that's something to look out for. He's got pretty excellent articulation. He's got some butterfly shoulders and then 360 on the shoulder, and then a fair amount of outward, and then a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, and then a wrist pivot but no swivel. And then he's also got hinged fingers, then a good amount of side kick, and then forward kick all the way, backward kick all the way, about 90-degree knee. And he's sort of got ankle tilts, but you kind of have to break the sculpt to make the ankle tilts work. And then this piece of metal right here, the cuff of his boot, gets in the way of the ankle pivot, which is kind of a poor design. This metal here should have been shaved down so he could pivot his ankles correctly. And then you got a couple joints in his tail as well to make it look more lifelike. And then he does have waist swivel and then a ball joint neck. So he has all the articulation of a Studio Series Transformer. He does have metal in the shins, which I would have preferred they didn't do because it does weigh him down a little bit. And then he does have this weird joint where his hips can separate. That's not used in the transformation, so I'm not sure what the point of that is. I guess for the side kick mostly, but it's not really used for anything else. But overall, great looking sculpt. This figure has a lot of style. It's very interesting to look at. The head's a little bit plain because the eyes don't have pupils and they look a little dead. And then it's weird that they have like a really human looking face, but then robotic kind of biceps and fingers. They probably should have made the face more robotic. But overall, pretty good looking figure considering he's got kind of a human face, which is a little bit offsetting. So I'd say maybe he's like an 8 for aesthetics. Looks really good. Okay, so here he is with his cloud on his back. I was able to transform him without using directions. So he's actually pretty simple. Just everything you can transform, you should. So you fold up his arms all the way. You're going to open the chest. And that's where his head's going to tuck in. And then you're going to release these front wheels of the truck from the inside of his chest. And then you're going to fold his head in as far in as you can. And then you fold this chest section all the way in. And then you butterfly in the shoulders into this chest cavity. And those are going to rub right against the rubber of his hair. You got to really push them in there so everything will fit. But everything will fit snugly. Then you lift up this front skirt to get out of the way, and that's basically the front of the truck already done. So you're going to fold the legs back like you would with most Optimus Primes. You can just fold all this garbage up to the front, and then you can open up these panels. And this reminds me a lot of Age of Extinction Galvatron, because he just has a lot of shell forming. And you just open the shell and neaten everything up and clip it together. Okay, so that's the front of the cab cleaned up. And then you're going to rotate from the knees, the thigh swivels, which I forgot to mention he has. And then you're going to rotate the wheels from behind his calves, and that's going to peg into here. Actually, I did that a little bit out of order. You have to swivel up his calves first to get them out of the way, or his shins. Or no, you put down his foot and then you swivel the calves from the back. So you swivel those all the way around. And then same thing for the other calf. Okay, so now the feet are out of the way, and now you can peg together the wheels. And then you're going to turn around the monkey tail and then fold it in half. And then there's grooves in the leg right here on the inside of the thigh and the inside of the calf. And that's where these parts of the monkey tail are going to peg in. And then again, with this monkey tail, there is some plastic stress on these tabs. So definitely don't force it. Be very gentle with it. You might not even want to peg it in, but that helps secure everything together. And then you take his extending staff and fold that, and that's going to become the smokestacks. And then you have his vehicle mode. It scales pretty much perfectly with the new deluxe transformers. And it's a little bit plain to look at, but it does the job. I would say this vehicle mode is probably like a 6. It's pretty mediocre, especially with all this junk in the back, and very much like Age of Extinction Galvatron. Okay, and then here's the company tag on the inside of his chest here. So overall, would I recommend this figure? Well, it's hard to say. There's stress marks here on the shoulders just from transforming this normally, and these aren't very tight. So this is just thin plastic, and it looks like it's already starting to give up a little bit. So it's a good chance that these are just going to break off. The plastic on this feels a little bit cheaper than a Studio Series figure. So if a Studio Series figure, I would say for quality is probably something like an 8. It's decent plastic. This would probably be a 7 or maybe a 6 with all these stress marks, especially, and then he's very back heavy without his tail, especially there you can see the stress mark a little bit more clearly on his tail, and that's basically on both sides of the clip. There's stress marks. So this looks like this probably won't last too long either, especially if I hadn't shaved it down. It definitely would have broken by now. So the quality is a little bit iffy. I would say only get these kinds of figures if you're really into the story of Sun Wukong. Then I really recommend it if you like that in Transformers, which is probably not a huge amount of people. But they are really interesting. They tried something new, and I appreciate that. But the quality really holds it back. I would have happily paid a little bit extra for a figure that has better quality and maybe is a little bit bigger. But if you're really interested in this, you should definitely order it from Sir Toys, and I'll leave a link in the description. Just because of the quality control issues, that's the only reason I can't recommend it. I really like the style and what they're going for, but the quality is just a little bit too low to be recommendable.